Well, hey, y'all, and welcome to the Hillbilly Chicken Ranch. I'm Susan, your hostess. We are trying take 4, and I hope my sound is now working. So please let me know in the comments below. We have had some difficulties this morning, some technical difficulties with the sound, so I'm hoping this works now. We are going to try to find me on my YouTube page, so give me just a moment, so that I can keep up with the chat. Okay, I see I've got the Bud Files in the house. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, just drop a 4 in the comments. 4 if you can hear me. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Let's try this again. Can you hear me? I'm waiting for a response to see if anybody can hear me before I go any further. We have had technical difficulties all morning, and I'm hoping that we can get through this live. So we had Alfonso Simmental, Ruby with Rushing Wind Mountain, Blackberry Rock Homestead, Life in the Piedmont, Broken Hearts Ministry Gale, AR Patriot Nation, Psalm 146, Home and Garden, Michelle Crochets in Kansas, Corner Clubhouse Cobalt, Maritza's Yarn and Crafts, Smoky Mountain Blessed. Yay! I got sound. Yay! Jamie's Country Living, Yorktown, Papa Smurf Ron, Christy Betts, and Rudy Araheta were at my last live. I was not here last week. I took a 3-day hiatus. I needed a break from YouTube, and I also believe that everybody should be spending holidays with their families. So I didn't put out any video content from Wednesday through Friday. Let me grab a drink. Oh, man. What a morning. What a morning. So we had Jake Hudson here, Handicapped Traveler, Sam Coker, Rita's Roost, and the Bud Files. Thank you all for coming in. I truly, truly appreciate that. We have got a lot of collaborations going on. We're going to be talking about quite a few things. But I wanted to get through that list really quickly. My members as of this morning are Gail with Broken Heart Ministry. She has Gail Southern Living and Simply Gail. And my throat is scratchy. Hang on. Oh, my goodness. Hey, Alfonso. Welcome in. Welcome in. Lucretia YouTube and Ariel Viking Ventures and Victuals. Tarsha with Triple Threat Firearms and Defense Incorporated, and Ruby with Rushing Wind Mountain are my members as of this month. Now, a couple of my members have dropped off. They may come back. I don't know. With the holidays coming, I can understand that. So it's really no big deal. I've got them saved. One thing I found out was Nightbot will allow you to disable and reactivate. So that's a great thing. Hey, Butler Family Farm, welcome in. Just so you know, this will be my last topics of interest live, because there are some channels that have disappeared and I am having trouble speaking now. No, Alfonso, I did not get that warning letter about all turkeys. Y'all hang on a moment. I had audio disruptions this morning. Now I've got coughing. So what else is going to go wrong? So anyway, there are some channels that does conservative news, and they have disappeared off of YouTube. So what I have decided is today is going to be my last day doing the topics of interest for a little while, and we'll just see where this goes, because I do slant towards being a conservative, but I don't want my channel taken down. I do post on Telegram, though, news of interest. If y'all are interested in that, I do have it on Telegram. So that will be a backup source for my topics of interest. And I post those as I find them. So hang on just a moment. It's been a weird morning, to say the least. This is take 4 of trying to get this live going. So I tried to go over to the YouTube side. I was still having the issue with the sound. So what I decided to do was to turn my laptop off and reboot it. And thankfully that fixed whatever the issue was. So we're going to be talking about Christmas holidays and a brand new year on this live. We're going to be talking about the collaborations galore that is going on. We're saying so long November and hello to December. We're going to make friends that last. I want to know about your holiday plans and your New Year plans. I done member shout outs. I don't even know if I've done it today. I think I just did it. Yeah, I did it. Then we're going to do a devotional about the nativity, and it's going to start in Luke chapter 1, starting in verse 5. We'll go through 5 through 25. And then I want to let you know that my Ultimate Cookie 23 video will drop tonight at midnight. So y'all will get to see me making some cookies. That's Miss Ashley at CNC Farms collaboration, and it is a wonderful collaboration. Lots of people involved. Hey, AR, welcome in. Get you on my list. So apparently YouTube has decided that they're going to police conservative channels. Conservative news source channels, let's put it that way. I watch Restricted Republic, and they put out something the other day, and I didn't watch the whole thing, but the gist of it was they are fearful that their channel may be taken down off of YouTube as well, because they do news, and that's all the channel does is news. I do a lot of other things, but, you know, I don't want to lose my monetization. One of the issues is they're taking away monetization. The other one is they're just removing the channel without any comment or a notification. So we don't want to have that happen here. Oh, has this year ever flown by, y'all? We are at the end of November. Can y'all believe it? 2023 is almost gone. We have another, 32 days. And we are in the process of decorating our home and getting everything ready for the holidays. And then in January, I've got 2 of my grandsons coming up to visit. So I've got to do some work to get a bedroom ready for them to come in and have a place to sleep. So y'all be praying for me that I have the energy to do all this. Okay, we're going to get into our topics of interest. And Chicago had a bloody Thanksgiving weekend. 29 were shot, 1 dead. This comes from Conservative Institute on November the 27th. Chicago, a once great city, now firmly under ultra-radical liberal control. Nothing but a bloodbath over the weekend. And this is coming directly from the article. This is not my words, just so y'all know. Hey, Jake, welcome back. Chicago literally employs some of the toughest gun, the bang bang control laws in the USA, and has continued to have the highest rate of bang bang deaths, mostly gang violence. So, that I believe that everybody has a Second Amendment or right to bear arms. But when they're used as a political pawn, and now this cough drop is bothering me, or they fall into the wrong hands, we have these kind of issues. So y'all be praying for the people in Chicago, and make sure that when you're not using that you have it safely stored away. Excuse me. I have sinus issues. I have a scratchy throat. And y'all, it's seasonal. It's allergy related because every season I have some kind of allergy. This is probably from all the leaves falling off the trees and creating mold and mildew that way. So, it's just one season to the next for me. Israel and Hamas agreed to extend a ceasefire under the pressure from Number 46, November 27th, the Conservative Institute. There will be a 4-day ceasefire. The deal calls for every 10 hostages released to extend another day. The deadly war began on October the 7th, killing 1,200 Israelis and taking 240 captives. Thousands of Palestinians have also died in Israel's wipeout Hamas operations. So we need to continue to pray for that over in the Middle East. Overturn of Roe v. Wade resulted in 32,000 more births, claims report 1127. This also is coming from Conservative Institute. At least 32,000 more babies have been born since Roe v. Wade was overturned in June of 2022. According to the new study, in 2020, 1 in 5 pregnancies ended in abortion. 75% of those patients were low income. 59% previously had given birth. 55% reported a recent disruptive life event such as falling behind on rent or losing a job. So that's good news. We have 32,000 more citizens in the United States now because Roe v. Wade was overturned. Now, the battle is still going on state to state. We need to continue to pray about that. Large retailers such as Publix, Walmart, Aldi received recalls on stone fruits. FDA warns. This came from CNN, the Clinton News Network, but it's still valid information, so I went ahead and included it. Peaches, plums, and nectarines have all been recalled due to contamination concerns. The non-organic fruit, so this is non-organic or GMO, was sold individually and in bags between May 1st and November 15th last year and this year. The FDA also notes that the fruit also went into companies that may have frozen or relabeled it. Listeria infection is usually, it's a listeria infection that they're worried about. So listeria infection usually starts 2 weeks after someone eats contaminated food. So if you have any of those, get rid of it. Okay, and another recall. FDA is warning parents about kids' fruit puree pouches. This comes from foodandwine.com, 1127. The FDA is warning parents against giving their children certain certain processed or pureed Food pouches. I can't read my writing, y'all. Due to elevated lead. So there's lead in these. Cinnamon, apple puree, and applesauce products are under 3 brand names. Wanabana, WANABANA, apple cinnamon fruit puree pouches, Schnucks brand cinnamon flavored applesauce pouches and variety pack, and Weiss brand cinnamon applesauce pouches. Lead is toxic to humans and can affect people of any age. The FDA received 52 reports of elevated lead levels in children ages 1 through 4 in 22 states. So that's very important. If you know somebody that has small children, you might want to let them know about that. Hey, Christy, welcome in. That's Christy Betts, my neighbor in another town. Yeah, they are dragging out the war with this hostage situation. There is no doubt about it. We all know what the Bible says about this, and we need to be praying for Israel, but we also need to be praying for the innocent people that are caught in the midst of all of this. I pray each and every day that God will send visions and dreams of Jesus. As a matter of fact, I didn't save the article, but there was 200 Palestinians that came to know Christ because they had dreams and visions of Christ on the same day over there. So, hey, Rita, welcome back. We're playing Where's Susan today? Or hide and seek Susan, whatever. So we pray each and every day for the lost of the world, whether they be Jewish or Muslim or any other Gentile nation out there. We pray for their salvation, but we're also praying that they have dreams and visions of Jesus. And it's happening, folks. 200 men came to know Jesus through dreams and visions in one day over in Gaza. Let's see. And the majority of them have lost their entire families, including their children. So they really do need our prayers. Not only that, but for their safety now that they are Christians. So we need to be praying for their safety for that as well. But isn't God wonderful? He's using this situation over there to save many, many people's lives in Christ. So I'm super, super excited about that. And y'all, I'm sorry, my voice is going in and out today. Yeah, it's real exciting when you see things like that. Hey, Corner Clubhouse Cobalt. Cobalt. So AR, I think, is Elliot, and Corner Clubhouse Cobalt is Mark. And if I've got your names backwards, y'all forgive me because I get confused really easy. Does not take much to confuse me these days. All right. Leading report, Republicans propose to unleash up to 150 subpoenas on Senate Democrats if they subpoena conservatives. Y'all know that the Democrats kind of walked out on that meeting when they started doing this, so I'm not going to rehash that, but it came out again on November the 28th, so they must be still battling that up there in Congress. So yeah, Marcus Clubhouse Cobalt and Elliot is AR, and I get confused, guys. Y'all have to forgive me. I am bad with names. Christy said, I saw a video on India where Christians were being persecuted, but more than ever are coming to Christ. Absolutely. I have a friend over there that lives in India. I haven't heard from him in many years, but got to know him through a Christian forum, and sweet young man. And he was the only one in his family that was a Christian. So even to this day, I pray for him and his family to come, his family to come to Christ. And his father left his mother and left her destitute. And it was just a horrible, horrific story. And God just showed up and showed out for him so many, many times. And they still want to deny Christ. So, it's something that we don't really think about here in the United States, although we're starting to see some of the persecutions happening here. And you'll hear more about that as I go along. How many meat eaters do we have in the house? I know I am. I was raised eating meat, although I could become a vegetarian very easy. I love vegetables. But I still think our best source of protein would be through meat. Plus, we get the collagen through meat and so many things that our body needs. And God created us to eat meat. The Bible talks about eating lamb and fish. And so I'm okay with that. I'm not okay with having to slaughter my own animals, but, we might have to do that. And Butler Family Farm says they eat their own cattle. Yeah. If I had cattle, definitely we would be doing that. We have dispatched chickens, and that was a fun adventure. We have dispatched rabbits in the past, and mostly my husband has done all the dirty work, and I just kind of go in there and help out where I can. Christy says, me, although peanut butter is my protein today. Yeah, I eat a lot of peanut butter too. Peanut butter is a really good protein. Beans and rice makes a complete protein. So you can get proteins through your vegetables, but you have to know how to combine them to get it. So the UN is asking Americans to reduce meat eating to fight, get this, climate change. In a new global food systems instructions 1128, and I forgot to write down where this came from, so y'all forgive me for that. The UN COP28 Climate Summit is set to kick off in Dubai on Thursday during a 2-week event. Leaders will discuss how their respective countries can battle or can better address threats posed to the environment by humanity. Hey, Melanie Starr, welcome in. Let me get your name written down. Make sure I got everybody's name written down. Millie Starr. I think you're new here, so welcome in, my sweetheart. Meatitarian. Okay, let me get back to the article. The UN roadmap to transition to sustainable global food systems by 2050. It will propose limiting meat consumption in the Western nations, claiming that the greenhouse gas outputs are too high. In March of 2021, a study published by Nature Food found that the growing, processing, and packing the world's food, as well as disposing of the waste, generates 34% of all greenhouse gas emissions, released about 18 billion tons of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere every year. Well, people have been eating since the beginning of time, and I don't know how they're coming up with this. I really don't. Of course, there are studies out there also that will say the total opposite of what they're saying. So you have to go and you have to really do some research. Okay, you were living by faith and grace. Okay, well, thank you, Melanie, for that. So one of the articles I read not too long ago was that the elitists will be the only meat eaters when they get to this year 2050. They're going to save all the meat and all the better quality foods for the elitist, and then we peasants will get the leftovers and we'll be eating bugs, and they're already introducing cricket flour into certain food products. We're eating a lot of genetically modified food already. So you have to read the labels, because you don't want to be eating the junk that they're giving you. Bill Gates has come up with this thing called A-Peel that they're putting on all the fresh fruits. So it doesn't wash off. You don't know what's in it. They don't give you any indication as to what's in it. And anything he touches is tainted, in my opinion. So organic is the way to go. Well, they're trying to attack the organic market as well. And you have to watch, if you go to an organic markets, you also have to watch going there and read your labels, because a lot of genetic modification stuff is ending up in these so-called organic products as well. Hey, Rudy. No, Rudy, I'm not the bearded lady today. Yeah, bugs are organic, but they'll be modifying them as well before too long, because we know what the book of Revelation talks about. If you read the book of Revelations, you'll know what I'm talking about. Rudy, my husband owns a cowboy hat. Alrighty. Judicial Watch, and this came from Wired.com. They posted this. Secretive White House surveillance program gives cops access to trillions of U.S. phone records. Senator Ron Wagen sent a letter to the DOJ on Sunday challenging the program's legality. DAS, Data Analytical Services, for more than a decade has allowed federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies to mine details of Americans' phone calls and records on countless people who were not suspected of any crimes. The DAS program was formerly known as Hemisphere, is run by telecom giant AT&T, wouldn't you know? The White House has provided more than $6 million to the program. A letter was sent to the U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland about the serious concerns and legality of the program. So this program 10 years ago would have been under, I believe, Obama. So this was an Obama program. The DAS programs is maintained under an affiliate program called HIDTA, funded by the White House Office of National Drug Control Policy, ONDCP. So they're using this drug program policy, National Drug Control Policy, and they're filtering all this stuff through that to make it look as if it's legit. And so it's being called into question, and I'm glad that these senators are doing their job. I don't even know if Senator Wagen is a Republican or Democrat or independent. I don't care, as long as they get to the point of figuring out why we're being surveilled. Just common, everyday, normal people are being surveilled. And they literally said trillions of U.S. phone call records were maintained or utilized for this. Little scary when you think about that. Are we living in a dictatorship, socialist, communist country? Yeah, I agree. It's insanity. Now, this one comes from lifenews.com on 11/28. Number 46 wants to ban Christian families from adopting children in foster care. This is the article I was talking about where Christians are being targeted. Let me get another drink of water. Yeah, they're trying to identify the patriots. Thank you for that, Elliot. I appreciate that. Please type Hillbilly to drop your links so everybody can connect. And if you want your weather reports, you can type weather and your zip code. And Nightbot should be working fine today. Hopefully, that's the only bug I had this morning was the sound issue. So number 46 wants to ban Christian families from adopting foster care children based solely on their religious beliefs and opposition to the radical LGBTQ ideology. Now, this is coming from the article. This is not me saying this. This is all coming from these articles, y'all. This is to protect children under the Social Security Act. Isn't it funny that they're using another Social Security Act for this? With federally funded foster care programs to provide safe and proper care of children that identify as LGBTQ. They are placed into to make sure that they're placed into a safe and nurturing home. The criteria forces Christian parents to affirm a child's pretend gender as opposed to supporting the children's truthful based on their biological sex, and it removes the ability to truly parent a child in foster care. 19 Republican attorney generals are pushing back the number 46 administration to back down on the new rule that would exclude Christian families from fostering children and jeopardizing foster care systems nationwide. A SCOTUS ruling in 2021 called Fulton versus City of Philadelphia ruled that Philadelphia's refusal to contract with a Catholic social services group unless it agreed to certify same-sex couples as foster parents violated the First Amendment. Vulnerable children across America's foster care system are urgently in need of loving families to care for them. Number 46 administration is putting politics over parents and gender ideology above children's best interests. And I don't care what side of the aisle you are on, keep the kids out of it. It's absolutely nuts that we're even reading stuff like this. Absolutely, Christy, calling good evil and evil good. Yes, Melanie, people need Jesus. I absolutely agree with you. We're almost done with my topics of interest, but we're going to get into the open collaborations, and we're going to do a little devotional. And at that point, I will open up I will allow somebody to come up on panel if I recognize you. But I want you to stay on topic, and I'd love to have somebody that is doing a collaboration come up, because this is mainly focused on collaborations and dealing with Christmas and the New Year and things that are coming. So y'all keep that in mind. Okay. U.S. Navy medical officer exposes Defense Department data showing alarming increase in heart-related issues among pilots for doing the Cavovo, this. Myocarditis is up by 151%. Heart failure is up by 973%. Okay, Lieutenant Ted Marcy, active duty officer in the Navy Medical Services Corps and a whistleblower, revealed the Department of Defense data in significant rise in heart-related issues among military pilots following the Cavovo Lieutenant Marcy also serves as a Navy Health Administration and medical recruiter. Shared his findings in a recent video. According to the data, shows a surge of hypertensive disease is up 36%. Ischemic heart disease is up 69%. Heart failures, 973%. Other forms of heart disease is up 63%. Cardiomyopathy is up 152% compared to a 5-year average prior to 2022. Okay, Melanie, I'll write that down. So you're going to be hosting a big seed giveaway. Melly. Big seed giveaway. 5 winners. Drawn January 1st. And she's only got 10 entries so far. Do me a favor and just type in the word hillbilly so everybody can grab your link and go check you out. And that way we can get more people over there. But I will mention that as we get into these collaborations. So these are findings that this lieutenant in the Navy has released. And I'm pretty sure he has upset somebody along the way. So we need to pray for his protection. But these numbers are scary. And I know of a nurse that had she was all giddy, all excited about going and getting it. And then she was paralyzed. And she has small children at home and she's not regained any of her functions. When I had the Cavovo pneumonia, the nurses that worked with her told me the story about her. And, of course, back then they gave me her name. I won't reveal her name. But it was, we're dealing with unknowns here. Nobody knew what was in these things. And so much of the information is being hid from the public. And this is probably one of the reasons that, we're seeing so many channels being taken down because people are speaking out. So this is not my words. This is his words. This is the findings that he had. He is a lieutenant in the U.S. Navy. I think that speaks for itself. We need to trust that information. Daily Mail on 11/27. And here goes my throat again. I don't know what's going on, y'all. At least 400 female and child migrants have been brutalized in rape tents along the infamous Darien Gap while making treacherous journey to the U.S. New report reveals. This comes from the Daily Mail. Tents set up in Central American jungle for the sole purpose of raping migrant women and children who can't pay bribes to criminal gangs. This really upsets me. Most of the victims of rape on the migrant journey are women, but children as young as 11 years old were also raped. Hey, Tiffany with Canadian Family Life. Men who tried to save the women from rape were killed or beaten. Hey, Ruby, welcome in. That's Rushing Wind Mountain. I figure I'm going to lose a lot of viewers today because I had to start over 4 times to get this live to work right. So the Darien Gap is in Panama for anybody that wants to know about that. But we need to be praying for these people that are trying to come to the United States. No matter what your feelings are on it, whether you want them here, you don't want them here. The fact is they're still coming. So we have to think about their needs and their wants. And unfortunately, we have to care for children that are unattended and so forth. And all these medical things that are popping up along with that. So, especially these that are being raped and beaten or killed along the way. It's a very dangerous track. I've been dealing with illegals most of my adult life. I worked in restaurants and worked with them. Things that I had no control over. If I wanted a job, that's what I had to do. I waitressed for many, many years. I ran a restaurant at one point. Among my many, many hats that I wore for jobs. And most of the ones that came, 40 years ago, came to work and support their family because they weren't making any money back home. They were living hand to mouth, literally. Okay, Ruby, no problem. At least you can hear me on this one, hopefully. So let's pray for these people. We're to show the love of Christ no matter what the situation is. And so, their sin is they wanted to get out of the country they were in, and they came illegally. Apparently, our government and politics cannot get it right. And there's a lot of flack on both sides of the aisle. And we just need to, sometimes step back from the situation and just look at the human tragedy that's happening because of this. And it's not just happening here. It's happening all around the world. All the borders have been opened up, y'all. I saw an article the other day where Japanese people are telling the government there are no more migrants. No more. They don't want the migrants coming in. Same thing with France. France has been battling the government for a while now. Other nations are doing it as well. It's just kind of a crazy thing that's happening. So this no borders policy is not just the United States. This is part of the new world order that they're trying to push on everybody. And that's biblical. Okay. DOJ launched a violent crime initiative in Memphis, Tennessee, my hometown. This came from Action News 5 on 11/28. Y'all, there has been more murders in the city of Memphis than I care to count. Chicago is bad. There's several places that are Democrat-run cities where crime is just running amok. And Marsha Blackburn just posted that they released a serial killer down in Memphis. Didn't even put him in jail, just released him. So I want y'all to think about that. This is happening. And I've got a daughter that lives down there, and it scares me. But the U.S. DOJ is expanding its efforts in the Bluff City of Memphis, Tennessee, which is located in Shelby County in West Tennessee. It's also right there on the Mississippi River. A 17-year high in violent crimes has brought Memphis into the limelight for crime. The drugs, the gangs, prostitution have all just kind of been thrown together. And literally, when you go to Memphis, it's like going to a third world country that is war-torn. It hurts my heart to go down there and see the streets of Memphis look the way it does. Um, one of the reasons we moved was because of crime. We had a house. We were buying down there. We had our vehicle broken into, no lie, 5 times within 1 month. We had a guy shot and murdered just three houses down from us because of drug dealing. We had prostitutes walking up and down our street, literally walking up and down our street there, and it was just crazy stuff. I don't know what's going on with my hair. Anyway, we decided to get out of Memphis, and I'm so glad we did. It really hurts my heart to see a city I grew up in and loved do what it's doing today. My husband's cousin was murdered down there by his wife, and she got literally a slap on the wrist, and less than a year she was out of jail walking the streets again. So the jails are overcrowded down there. The system is corrupt. And the poor in that city are just getting poorer and poorer because they're not finding good paying jobs. What is going on with my hair? Okay. I don't know if that's right or wrong, but it don't matter. So y'all be praying for Memphis and for cities like Memphis, like Chicago, and all these places that have these high crime rates. Just crazy numbers. I'm glad that the DOJ is stepping in, but are they stepping in a little too late? That's the question. Yeah, Christy said Friday night there was an explosion and a big fire at a neighbor's. I wondered if it was meth. I called it in, and 15 emergency vehicles showed up. Well, that's good if they showed up. Yeah, that was the other thing. They had meth houses down there. Fentanyl on the streets. I mean, it's just, the drugs are rampant. But what the city did a few years ago was all the prostitutes were out on Elvis Presley Boulevard where all the motels were and the truck stops. Well, they had some big wigs coming through the city, so they decided to move all the prostitutes into the local neighborhoods. And when they did that, they never went back to wherever they were originally prostituting themselves. And we've had gang problems come in, and the city refused to recognize gang problems until it was too late. We literally had gangs threatening our lives down there. And I am not one that's going to back down. It was a scary time, but we managed to get through that. The police had to come up and down our road for a long time just to make sure that we stayed safe. You can't call 911 down there and get a rapid response either. That's another issue. So there's a lot of things wrong with Memphis right now that needs to be checked. And I'm kind of glad that the DOJ is down there. I'm hoping that they can get a handle on this. But my fear is that as long as they have these liberal Democrats running the show, nothing's going to be accomplished. So y'all be praying for my family that lives there, because I have an older sister that still lives there, and I have a daughter that lives there. The National Christmas Tree is in the news, y'all. It toppled over because of gusty winds in D.C. This came from Fox Weather on 11/28. Hey, our new land, welcome in. Let me get you down. I'm glad everybody's starting to find me. If y'all would just share this live out so everybody knows where I'm at, because I didn't even have time to go in and, put out anything on the community tab given the new link. So they're 40-foot Norway spruce from Mongolia National Forest in West Virginia is actually the second national Christmas tree to be erected this year in the President's Park. The first tree was replaced after it was affected by needlecast. Needlecast is a fungal disease that causes needles on spruce, pine, and other conifer trees to turn brown. The second tree toppled when sustained 20-mile-an-hour winds gusted to 40 miles an hour just before 2 p.m. Eastern Time. According to the MPS, the tree is scheduled to be lit on Thursday, marking the 100th anniversary of the holiday tradition. Crews are working to stand the tree up again. So y'all know that tree is so important as a national symbol to everybody, just like the one in Rockefeller Center, that Christmas is here. So, these are weird things happening. And I thought that was just kind of strange that tree toppled over like that. And I know that they've had stronger winds than that in the past. So this is the last of my topics of interest for a while. I explained it at the very beginning of this. I have chosen not to give them any more here, but I will be posting them on Telegram on my Hillbilly Chicken Ranch page there. So if you want to go to Telegram, you can go and you can see some of the articles. When I find them, I'll post them there. We've had a rough time this morning. We had to go 4 times to get this live going right. And I'm just super, super excited that we are finally getting it done. It took me a while. It took me about 30 minutes, I think, to really get it up and going good. So we have open collaborations going on. Delicious Desserts 23 at Jamie's Country Living. It's a hashtag. Hashtag Delicious Desserts 23 at Jamie's Country Living. I don't know if she's going to do it through December or not. Pie November is going on with Blackberry Rock Homestead, and she says she's going to do it through December. The Ultimate Cookie Collaboration with CNC Farms, that's Miss Ashley, started November 15th. Will end December the 15th. And my cookie recipe will drop tonight at midnight. Then Gail's Southern Living is doing an elf cookie collaboration. It's an open collaboration. You can tag her in it, and it starts December the 1st through the 25th. We have, let's see, November also has God's Blessings with Blackberry Rock Homestead and Holiday Blessing with Joy Blessed Life. December collaborations also include a slow cooker collaboration with Luann at Blackberry Rock Homestead and at Luann's Kitchen. She's got 2 channels, so y'all want to check that out. She's going to be doing a gelatin pudding recipes kind of collaboration coming up. And let's see, January will be hashtag back a package recipes with Luann with Blackberry Rock Homestead. And an open collaboration is Homestead Crafts and Recipes hosted by Milk and Honey Heritage Farms and Gail's Southern Living. You want to email them if you want to get in on that. And you want to use the hashtag and do those 2 channels. you want to post old-fashioned crafts or recipes, just let them know that you're doing that. And Melanie has dropped her link above, or Melly has dropped her link above, and that's Melly Star. She's doing a big seed giveaway with 5 winners. She's going to draw this on January the 1st. Right now, she only has 10 entries, so y'all need to go over there to her channel and make sure you get entered into that. That will be super, super exciting. I'm so excited whenever somebody says seeds, because I want to be in the dirt digging. Again, I want to thank my members, Gail with Broken Hearts Ministry, Lucretia YouTube, Ariel Viking Venture and Victuals, Charger Triple Threat Firearms and Defense, and Ruby with Rushing Wind Mountain. You don't have to become a member of this channel, but it is truly, truly appreciated. All right, we're going to get into our devotional. It's 20 verses, y'all. Say a prayer. My voice holds up. And I got my Bible upside down. And I'm reading out the King James Version. Luke chapter 1, starting in verse 5 through 25. There was in the days of Herod the king of Judea a certain priest named Zacharias of the course of Abia, and his wife was of the daughters of Aaron, and her name was Elizabeth. And they were both righteous before God, walking in all the commandments and ordinances of the Lord blameless. And they had no child, because Elizabeth was barren, and they both were now well stricken in years. And it came to pass, when he executed the priest's office before God in order of his course. Y'all, I'm going to stop right there. When they would execute their priest's office, they were going before the Holy of Holies, behind the veil curtain. This curtain was several inches thick, and behind it was the Ark of the Covenant. They would literally tie a rope around their ankle, because once you went in there, if you went in there with sin, God would strike you dead, and they would have to drag their body out. And they were very fearful to go in there, so they always made sure that they had cleared their conscience of all sin and repented of that sin before they went in there. So this was a big, big deal. According to the custom of the priest's office, his lot to burn incense when he went into the temple of the Lord. And the whole multitude of the people were praying without at the time of incense. And there appeared unto him an angel of the Lord standing at the right side of the altar of incense. And when Zacharias saw him, he was troubled, and fear fell upon him. But the angel said unto him, Fear not, Zacharias, for thy prayer is heard, and thy wife Elizabeth shall bear a son, and thou shalt call his name John. And thou shalt have joy and gladness. Many shall rejoice at his birth. And this is the story of how John the Baptist came to be. And Elizabeth was Mary's cousin, just so you have some ideas of what's going on. For he shall be great in the sight of the Lord, and shall drink neither wine nor strong drink, and he shall be filled with the Holy Ghost, even from his mother's womb. And many of the children of Israel shall he turn to the Lord their God. And he shall go before him in the spirit and the power of Elias, and turn the hearts of the fathers to the children, and the disobedient to the wisdom of the just, to make ready a people prepared for the Lord. And Zacharias said unto the angel, Whereby shall I know this? For I am an old man, and my wife is well stricken in years. And the angel answered and said unto him, Gabriel, I am Gabriel that stand in the presence of God, and am sent to speak unto thee, and to show you these glad tidings. And behold, thou shalt be dumb, and not be able to speak until the day that these things shall be performed, because thou believest not my words, which shall be fulfilled in their season. And the people waited for Zacharias and marveled that he tarried so long in the temple. And when he came out, he could not speak to them. And they perceived that he had seen a vision in the temple, for he beckoned unto them and remained speechless. And it came to pass, as soon as the days of his ministration were accomplished, he departed to his own house. And after those days, his wife Elizabeth conceived and hid herself 5 months, saying, Thus hath the Lord dealt with me the days where he looked on me to take away my reproach among men. So God is performing a miracle before the birth of Jesus in this couple, Zacharias and Elizabeth. And this child that she's going to bear is going to lead many people to the Lord. And he is going to baptize Jesus, even though he thinks he's not worthy of that. So that is a miracle in itself, but the miracle is continued through this story. And we'll come back and we'll start up again next week in verse 26. But I wanted to share that because I thought that was so important for you to understand that this Zacharias was one of the priests that went into the Holy of Holies. And his purpose was to go in there and to light the incense and to pray for the people. And it was very dangerous for them to do this. So I think the story of the Nativity is such a important story for us to understand, because without the birth of Jesus, there would never be a cross or crucifix. There would never be a way for us to be redeemed. And part of the job for Zacharias was he was praying that God would forgive the sins of the people. And so we know that Jesus took on those sins and went to the cross of Calvary. He took the place of the sacrificial lamb in doing so, and he did this once and for all time. So it's a very, very important story for us to understand out of the Bible. I hope that y'all have enjoyed that little bit of a devotion today. I am going to open up this for the panel. My rules are I have to see your face. If I don't see your face, you don't get to come up. If you act ugly, you'll get booted out. You won't be back. Yeah, Christy says, now Jesus covers us, so we don't have to have a rope tied to us in the presence of God. Absolutely. So, you have to show your face. You can't be ugly up here. We want you to stay on topic. And the topics were discussed at the very beginning of this live. Let me go back and read them. Collaborations. If you have a collaboration, you're welcome to come up. Something that hasn't been discussed already, or maybe it's one that's coming up. What are your holiday plans? What are your New Year plans? And that's basically what we're going to be talking about now. So those three topics are what we're going to be talking about. Hey, Papa Smurf, welcome in. Let me get your name on my list. That's Papa Smurf Run. Yes, amen. We should not have fear when God is in our heart. Absolutely. So let me grab that link. Next week's live will be a lot different than this one. I'm going to have to do some planning and figure out what we're going to be discussing because we're not going to be doing the topics of interest here. So we're going to be finding something else, more than likely be homestead related, things to do around the homestead, gardening and planning and so forth. So I've got the link there. If anybody wants to come up, you just grab that link, come on up. And while we're waiting, if you have any prayer requests, this is a good time to put your prayer request because we're going to be ending this in about 20 minutes, 20 to 25 minutes, somewhere in there. I do have prayer requests. Personally, my foster mom was in the hospital. We almost lost her. She has some very, very serious medical concerns going on. She's 83 years old. She's in rehab right now, but she is dropping her weight is just falling off of her. She's dropping weight rapidly. So we need to be praying for her and for my daughter, Olivia, her caretaker. And then also for my oldest daughter with her health issues. So we need to be praying for all of them. I welcome up Alfonso.
Hey, Susan, how are you?
I'm blessed.
I'm the same way too, man. Can't complain.
Yeah, I'm going to have to switch you back because you're out of frame there. There we go.
Yeah.
I got you back on there.
Yeah, because the way I'm set up, I got my camera on this side, then I got my big screen on this side, so I'm
okay.
my big screen.
Awesome. So did you have a good Thanksgiving?
Oh, yes.
I'm sorry I didn't make your lives. I really was trying to avoid
I was disappointed.
YouTube.
I was disappointed because people that wanted my project didn't respond within 48 hours.
Oh, you're kidding.
I'm not kidding.
Oh, you can always do it again though. But I was taking a hiatus from YouTube as much as possible. And nighttime is just not a good time for me because I deal with my husband at night.
Yeah.
And weekends are not good for me because I'm with him on the weekend. So I'm his wife, and that's my responsibility is to be there for him.
Right.
Yeah, Christine has a prayer request. Discernment with dealing with the person who has my tiny house and belongings. Okay.
Right now I'm just making my Christmas cards, embossing them in braille.
Ruby, my foster mom's name is Sarah. Biblical name. Yeah, I haven't even started my Christmas cards. I'm not going to be mailing out cards unless I get a card in the mail, except to my sister and my brother and one niece. Because the postage has just gotten ridiculously high, it's now going to be 69 cents for a postage
stamp.
Actually,
here in Colorado, it's 70 cents a stamp.
Yeah, 69 cents is what it's supposed to be nationally.
But yeah. It's like 70 cents here already.
Yeah. And so if I was to send out what I used to send out years ago was 100 cards, it would be $690 to send out cards.
Wow, but thankfully I can mail my stuff postage free.
Yeah. Yours is postage free, but not everybody's is.
Not everybody, right? Yeah, like I say, I finally got my other package delivered postage free because the issue with my post office, they weren't recognizing me as a blind person.
Yeah. Papa Smurf Ron said that happened to my mom. It was her thyroid. She had gotten down to 70 pounds, they had to remove it. Well, this is with my foster mom is something a little more serious than a thyroid at this time. There is a tumor pressing on her vagus nerve in her brain. And that's causing the weight loss and all the other issues. So, it's going to be very, very serious going forward. So what else are you doing for the holidays?
I have a Christmas party coming up next week for the National Federation of the Blind. They're going to want me to play.
Awesome. I like going to parties.
Yeah, I like taking the live music. I know this past weekend I went to my NFB meeting, and we have lunch at the Heather Gardens restaurant, and get to play the piano there. I just posted the videos the other day of Heather Gardens.
Yeah. Yeah. We're going, my husband's job has a Christmas party every year, so we're going to that. And then we're going to have, instead of doing our Sunday school Christmas party, we're just going to have it in the classroom.
Right.
And we're doing, instead of exchanging, we usually exchange an ornament.
Right.
Instead of doing that, we're going to do gifts for Room at the Inn, which is the homeless men's ministry that our church participates in.
Right.
To provide items that they need throughout the year. So I thought that was a better idea. We had so much trouble getting everybody together for Christmas. This way they come to the class, they can have a little snack while we do our Sunday school lesson, and we're giving a nice gift back to the men that need it so desperately. None of us needs any more ornaments. We're old, so we don't really need them.
Yeah, but here's the thing. When I used to live in my other house in Denver, I used to be at the NFB Denver chapter meeting, and we do what's called the Mad Elephant Gift Exchange. They call it the Mad Elephant Gift Exchange because the rules are like it has to be a value of $5 or more.
Right.
And they don't comply, and they just bring like junk, like whatever's no good, and there's a whole lot of disappointment. They start fighting over things and all that.
Oh my goodness. Well, hello, Goldie. Welcome in.
I mean, like someone got a rusted hole puncher, a rusted toilet seat, and all that.
Hey, Kevin with Tuber Chat. Welcome in.
Yeah, it gets pretty bad. Like, it's really wild, like with the Denver chapter, because there are a lot of younger folks, and now I'm with the rural chapter. There are a lot of older people that I'm with. Now.
Yeah. I had a lot of trouble this morning, Kevin, getting my live going. I know everybody's trying to find me. I went through 4 tries to get this thing up and running so that everybody could hear me. I don't know if it's my laptop going bad or what, but I had to reboot my laptop to get the
usually what it is, it could be the internal sound card could be going bad.
Well, it's probably true because this is an old laptop, and I told my husband, I said, we're probably going to have to buy me a new one pretty soon.
Actually, I recommend getting an external sound card, like $90 on Amazon, like $100. The Manocaster stream card.
Okay.
We could get the mic plug. Some comes you could get a package with the microphone, like $150.
Can you send me a link to that, or send me the name of it in email? Because I won't remember.
Yeah, I'll do that because I'm right now having trouble with my mixer. Like with the latest update, like it's not supporting it anymore.
See, this one won't support something that's supposed to be uploaded regularly too. So
yeah, because,
I knew
Windows keeps updating, and you have to keep upgrading to the latest devices and all that.
Yeah, this is a Chromebook, so I don't deal with the Windows anymore, but it's a Chromebook.
Yeah, you can't do much with Chromebook, unfortunately. That's a problem. Like I can for my use, Chromebook will not work for me.
Yeah. Tuber Chat said the first step is just to reboot everything in the morning of any day you plan to stream. I will have to do that from here on out. But we're going to be changing up our live too, Kevin. So it'll be around the same time, but I'm not going to be doing the topics of interest anymore because so many channels are losing their monetization or being booted.
You know what's gonna happen in Colorado? They've been talking about we might switch time zone in Colorado.
Really?
So
That'll mess everybody up.
you might switch to the Central Time.
Right.
To stay on permanent standard time.
Yeah.
We might switch over to Central Time.
Well, you'll be in my time zone then, won't you?
Yeah. Because the problem is that it gets dark really, really early here in Colorado. Like 4 o'clock, it's already pitch black.
Yeah.
And versus where I'm from in New Mexico, and we're still in the same time zone, but it's just the early it gets dark in New Mexico, like 5:30, 6 o'clock.
Yeah, it's usually dark around here about 5.
Yeah, I gotta go now. All right. Thank you. I just want to pop in.
Super chat. Kevin says, I even got a guideline strike for a speech I caught during a political rally. Better safe than sorry. Absolutely. It's getting weird. You know, the more we do, the less we can do. Yeah, Papa Smurf, they do want to do away with the daylight savings time. Unfortunately, that's the truth. And it's just, you know, if they do, we'll just have to deal with it. I mean, we didn't have it years and years ago. I think this was a more recent kind of thing. Goldie says, I'm halfway across the globe and it's dark at 4 p.m. Yep. I understand that. I used to remember standing outside for the school bus in the dark, waiting for the bus to come because it was so dark in the mornings. And Goldie says, and we do have daylight savings time. Where are you from, Goldie? I'm from West Tennessee. I'm a Southern gal. Well, our Christmas, my husband and I for years have not exchanged Christmas gifts. I think we did one year. But we really don't exchange gifts. We decide to buy for our kids or to donate the money for some other cause. Elliot says, I like sun time. I do too. We had a stubborn chicken yesterday, y'all. Did not want to go up. She got out of the fence. We have a cattle gate at the very back of our yard. We have a little section of our yard that's not fenced in back there. And she goes through that cattle gate because my husband hasn't wired it up yet. Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate that. And she was a little white chicken. And so I sent my husband a message. I said, white chicken out. Can't get her in. And he went out there and she was on top of the burn pile. And he said he had to climb up on all that stuff to try to get her down. So that I should have been out there videotaping it. It would have been funny. Let's see. Goldie is from Transylvania, Romania. And they don't have vampires. They went extinct. We eat way too much garlic. That's funny. Yeah, Transylvania is an interesting place, though. I love seeing all the castles and different things there. Yeah, the buses do run so early in the morning and it's still dark outside. And I feel so bad for these kids. So, you know, it's just the way it is. So we don't exchange Christmas gifts for each other. And I've told my kids this year we're not going to be giving the adults Christmas this year. Normally we give them gifts or we give them money. We will be buying for our grandsons or giving the older ones money this year. But because of the economy, and we are just strapped, y'all. Like everybody else, we're strapped for money. And that belt is getting tighter and tighter on us. So we're going to have to cut back this year. And I told them next year, we'll make it up next year, because normally I make homemade gifts. Well, this year I didn't have time to do that. So I tried to explain it to them the best I could, but I will be getting my grandsons in January, my two of my grandsons, and that will be fun for a week. Yeah, Goldie, it's very disputed land between Romania and Hungary. Yeah. Ruby's back. But let's see. So my husband was out there chasing this chicken. Finally got it into the pen. We don't want to leave them out because we have raccoons, fox, coyotes, a number of critters that will eat them or behead them. And I don't want to be finding that. And I keep saying, I'm going to videotape us chasing this chicken. I told him, I said, I'm about ready to put a string on her leg so I can pull her back through the fence. Yeah, garlic. Ron, I think garlic makes food taste better. I use a lot of garlic here. I didn't get any of my garlic planted this fall, which I was hoping to do. So it'll have to wait until spring, but I'm going to get some garlic planted. I did not have luck a couple of years ago with onions. I tried onion sets. Did not have much luck with those. Goldie says, what we do for Christmas is tell each other what we want. It's usually useful stuff. Well, that's what, I tell my kids all the time what I want, and I never get it. So Christy says, I run around behind chickens every night saying, go to bed. I tell them, house, get in the house. Now the ducks, for, the first few weeks, when it started getting dark early, I would have to chase them around their coop several times before they finally take their little waddly butts in there. And now what I do is I go out there and get their food set up and fresh water, and I close their pen off. So as soon as I open that pen up, I go stand a few feet away, and they'll all march inside, and I go over and close the coop up, and it works out great. The chickens are a little more difficult because we have so many. Of course, the BB Reds are still in a pen by themselves, and the other chickens have a huge coop. And what I do is I'll take their food in there, because we feed them right before they go to bed. And I'll take the food in there. The ones that are in there, I'll close the coop up. I leave the outer coop open. I go outside and try to get them to go towards that coop. Once I have a few more in there, I close the gate, go open the other gate, get them inside, and do this over and over again until they're all put up. It's really a lot of work, and I ought to be really skinny because I am out there trying to chase chickens. But that's part of the life of a homesteader. Yeah, we've done $5 gifts for, people from Dollar Tree in the past and different things, trying to keep it small, but you still got a gift. But I would rather get one thing that I really want, whether it's a skein of yarn or paints or something, craft-wise, that I would love. Hey, Life in the Piedmont, welcome in. Get you on my list. I got Rudy in the basement, but he's not showing his face, and I'm getting ready to close out. I've got to make some phone calls this afternoon, so I need to get that done. There's Rudy. I'm going to let him come up for a minute, then we're going to say our prayer, and then we're going to close out. Hey, Rudy, you can take your face down. There
Yes,
you go.
hello. Hello. Yeah, I know that today's Bible verse it's Luke chapter 1. I know Luke chapter 1 is long.
It is a long chapter. We're going to break it up over a couple of weeks. I really like giving the Bible story every year, the nativity story. So I thought doing it during the live would be a good time to do it. So how are you doing, Rudy?
Oh, yeah, it's real good. I've been commenting on the Bible verses and everything. And I was gonna ask you the last live that does Isaiah has a chapter 30 when you mentioned chapter 55.
Yeah. Did you
How do
have
you
a good
know?
Thanksgiving?
Yes. So how do you know there is such thing as that chapter?
Because I read my Bible.
And how about and as for Job chapter 12 verses 47 and 49, is that on the Bible?
I have to look at my Bible to tell you how many verses are in that chapter. Well, Rudy, we're getting ready to close out. I'm going to be doing a prayer and then we're going to be closing out. But I appreciate you coming up, buddy. And I hope
And what verses were you speaking on?
today was
Yes.
Luke 1, verses 5 through 25.
And does it have a verse 50?
I'd have to go back and look. Papa Smurf Ron says, the first time I heard, why would you buy a wife an appliance for Christmas? It was because she needed it. Lots of laughs.
Oh, on the
All
other
right,
chapter,
y'all.
you were
We're going
mentioning Revelation.
we're going to close out now, Rudy. So we're going to say a prayer and then we're going to close out. I
Okay.
appreciate you coming up, though. Dear Heavenly Father, first and foremost, I thank you for each and every one of these friends that have come through this live today. Thank you for the problems that we had today, Father, and for the information that I received from Kevin that will help me in the future and maybe not have those problems again. Father, I thank you for loving us and for the grace and mercy that you give us each and every day. Father, be with Christy as she's dealing with a person that is taking over her tiny home and her belongings. And Father, we know that you can fix this situation. Be with my foster mom, my daughters, Father, and for all the unspoken prayer requests out there, I ask you to bless each and every one of those. Thank you again, Father, for this day. Thank you for the month of December that is coming and that November is closing, Father. We thank you for the months, the days, and the years that you allot us. And we thank you for all that you have done, are doing, and will continue to do in the name of Jesus. Thank you, everybody, for coming, and may you be fully, fully blessed.